I think the button should be we're
All right.
yeah. Chip on the big
left-handed even.
On the left-handed kit today, man.
Yeah.
On the left-handed kit.
What's up? What's cracking, players?
So I gotta ask, what's up with the left-handed kit today, my friend?
Are you sure you don't want to ask me about my tennis ball?
Okay, tell me about your tennis ball. Your tennis ball.
Kit, dude. I was born left-handed, and my mom would always smack my left hand and put whatever it was I picked up into my right hand because she believed it was a right-handed world. She was born left-handed. It was like a do as I say, not as I do. She painted left-handed, and I always thought, this really sucks. I can't write good. Everything is all just backwards. And so I finally, in 2011, I started a project called Operation Left Back, where I take my left side back and I learned how to write left-handed. So I write backwards left-handed.
Okay.
You can see it in the mirror. So I write that way with left hand. I'm pretty good at it now. And I just decided for my anniversary this last year, March 22nd, that I'm going to spend the year on a left-handed kit at home and just really take care of that left side, get that evenness built up.
That makes me think of Dom Familaro's book, The Weaker Side,
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about that in there. I think that's really kind of cool, man.
Call it the more creative side.
Yeah, that's really cool. So is that your good thing for today?
My good thing for today is that Bart is feeling better because I know you were really sick, dude. My good thing is to see you guys on deck right now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fred, what's your good thing for today, buddy? What's happening?
Well, I got a couple. Let's see. One is I have my brand new Audix A10X in-ears in.
Nice.
Just got them, and I've been rehearsing with them. I got a call yesterday asking if I could play it with the Guns N' Roses tribute band in Salt Lake City on Friday night.
Oh, cool. Is it that one you played with before?
Yeah. Nothing like wait until the last minute to ask, though.
Yeah, right.
So I got that going on. The other cool thing is I had Jeremy Steinkohler on the Drummer G podcast this morning.
How was that?
That was awesome. What you didn't watch?
Do you know what, dude? I'm sorry, I did not watch.
I was sleeping. I'm going to catch it later.
I've been doing everything I can to kind of get myself back up to.
Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time.
At least I'm representing the home team over here.
I love it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm representing Lukenbach today.
My good thing, my third good thing is I have my plane ticket, my hotel, and my ticket to deck day.
Awesome.
And I get to give all of you guys a big hug.
This is going to be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to that, man. That's going to be a good time.
That's like the days.
We're going to have a blast, Joe.
Yes. Finally.
Awesome.
So Bart, what's your good thing, man?
My good thing is I am feeling better, and I've been on the road since January. I've been everywhere since January. It's been fantastic, but it's kind of nice to be home for a couple of weeks, and especially, kind of nursing things back to health. And I'm on deck now with my buddy Fred and with Chip, and really looking forward to deck day, and just looking forward to doing that whole thing. And been getting my deck day presentation together, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. So that's my good thing. Hey, so today we decided, and I told this to Chip before we got on. I said, today we're talking about drummer health, hand health, keeping your hands and your fingers and legs in good shape. And I think it's going to be an overall thing on drummer health. And I wanted to bring that up before because I have kind of a cool story about it. And I said to Chip, I was like, maybe that's jumping the shark. So I never brought it up. So when Chip was like, I want to do a thing on hand health, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So that's what our that's what our show is about today, is about drummers keeping your body, your hands, your legs, your feet, and everything in good shape, because we only have two of these and we need them. And I'm a big proponent of playing relaxed and keeping, you know, your grip nice and loose while you drum and stuff like that. And how do we go about doing that? So I've got a few anecdotes and a few things I'd like to talk about, but since Fred is our guest today, I'm going to throw it to you first. Fred, what are your thoughts on this? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me.
I think I'm like the fifth Beatle. I'm not sure I'm a guest anymore. I'm the guy that's
Pretty-
taking the wings.
You know what? I kind of agree with that. It's kind of like, hey man, can you show up in Salt Lake City and do a deck show?
Yeah, I got both those messages within a half hour of each other. And
That's
when
kinda cool.
they called and said I need a drummer for this weekend, I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And then a half hour later, I got a text from Bart, "Hey, can you do deck tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Obviously.
That's
I'm
great,
in.
man. That's so
Yes.
cool. That's
What was
so
the
cool.
question?
The question was, what are your thoughts, and do you do anything specific for your hand health and for your finger health and stuff like that, with whether you're on tour or doing a local show or just whatever? What do you do for your hands to keep them in shape?
Well, first of all, I have absolutely zero injuries or body aches and pains that are related to drumming. Zero.
Cool.
I do have a little bit of a low back issue, but I grew up riding motocross bikes and just gave my body a thrashing doing that kind of stuff. So that's not
another thing we have in common.
Yeah. That's but I learned early on from my drum teachers to stay really relaxed, not to grip tight, just to hold the sticks enough in the hands they don't go flying out of your hands.
Right.
And so I have a very, very relaxed approach. Even when I'm moving really big movements,
Mhm.
it looks like I'm being abusive, but I'm probably really not hitting any harder than if I just stay like this. I
Right.
just have this
Right.
big motion coming.
Yeah.
So I stress that to my students a lot because I know drummer friends that have carpal tunnel.
Mhm.
They've got tennis elbow. They got
Yep.
some rotator cuff injury.
Yep.
They got some low back injury going. Their thighs hurt from playing the bass drum, their pedal technique and all that. I don't experience any of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I always, 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 always do a little warm up before I start playing shows. Because when I play a show, there's a little extra something that gets inside of me just as I get on stage where I push initially pretty hard. And if I don't warm up a little bit before I do that, I'll know.
Oh yeah.
Your body will tell you, like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've experienced arm pump before, where your blood kind of gets stuck in your forearms,
Mhm.
and then your fingers don't want to move because you're just so full of fluid.
Yeah.
And if I don't warm up, that can happen.
Yeah.
So warming up is really, really important. The other thing that I like to do, let's think about health in 3 different ways: physical, mental, and spiritual health.
Yep.
And so if you have all 3 of those things on your side, you're going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
So I always try to keep that in mind. Alcohol and drugs have never been part of my scene whatsoever. So I'm not inhibited by anything when I play. I know some people maybe feel like they play better if they have a beer or 2 before. Like they'll say, "Oh, it takes the edge off." Yeah, I don't have that experience, so I can't speak on behalf of that side. But, yeah, that's where I start. Keep clean.
Very cool. Very
Nice.
cool. So, Chip,
Yeah.
how about you? I guess I'm going to ask a specific question and bounce off of something that Fred said. Do you have any physical ailments from drumming? Is there anything that you have?
I have had tendon pain in my arms. I have had injuries to my tendons. I have injured my shoulders by doing backflips without being warmed up. I've had muscle sprains, and most recently I have a my left side hip flexor muscle is overused, and when that happens, it tightens up and it gives me like a sciatic nerve back problem. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
My back muscle will start hurting, and that will pull on something, and then that aggravates a nerve in my back. So I'm currently going through that, but that's par for the course with me. When I get into Mr. Double Bass Monster practice mode, I can't tell that I'm hurting myself until the practice is over, and then it's like, oh man, it's because lack of stretching, lack of warming up, lack of the things that we're going to be talking about today.
Right.
So the answer is yes.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm with Fred I'm at my age, I'm a little bit beat up from racing motorcycles and, growing up on a ranch and being kicked by horses and all that sort of good stuff. But I don't have anything that's related to drumming. I have one finger injury, and it's on my left pinky, and it wasn't a drumming thing. I actually injured my pinky working on our old bus. And that stuck with me, but it hasn't affected my drumming. I had a friend of mine, I had two things happen that were very pivotal to me realizing that I needed to take care of my hands, because at a very early age, as all three of us have done, I knew this is what I wanted to do with my life. As far back as I can remember, this is what I wanted to do. So the two pivotal things were this. The first time I'd ever heard of carpal tunnel syndrome was with a friend of mine, Lee, back in Colorado. Lee was a great drummer, and he was the epitome of a rock drummer. He was animal. He was the dude that, and he that was his pride. I beat the heck out of the drums, and he used real big,
or Tommy Lee, yeah.
Yeah, and he used real big drumsticks, and I mean, he held the stick like this, he just held it like a club, and he ended up giving himself carpal tunnel syndrome. And I remember thinking to myself, what's that? Well, he explained it to me, and this is a billion years ago, so this is archaic, and they went in and they cut his hands open, they did the surgery, and they ruined him. I mean, like, for the rest of our high school career, he was the guy that was in marching band and jazz band and everything with me, and he couldn't play anymore. Like, he literally couldn't play, and I felt so bad for him. It broke his heart. As he got older, he figured ways around it, but I realized right away, I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. And then the second pivotal thing that happened to me was when I was about 13 or 14, I had to pay for my own drum lessons. Right. And so, yeah, right. So I found this dude, long story chain of events that made it happen, but he was in a touring band. He came through town, and I signed up for a lesson with him. And during the lesson, we did not play one note. All we did is he showed me these hand stretches. And being a young kid, I was so mad. I'm like, dude, I paid you for this lesson, and we didn't we didn't play anything, So I did these stretches out of spite, and all these years later, it ended up being the best drum lesson I ever had, because all my friends, guitar players and whatnot, that ended up getting carpal tunnel syndrome, they would go to the doctor, and the stretches that this guy showed me, I'd been doing for years, right? And they would end up doing them, and sometimes it would reverse the effects and they wouldn't have the surgery. I've only known one person that's actually had the surgery, and that was Lee. And so those were the two pivotal things that happened to me. So any injury that I have is not due to drumming. It's due to, like I say, motorcycles or something dumb,
Yeah.
Right on. Man, I had a carpal tunnel syndrome in my left hand in 2006. I had it in my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
And we had holding my hands up, making a really tight fist, and rotating throughout the day, I was told. One of the things to make sure that I did, and something to do with the wrist and the movement to keep that channel from getting over swollen, which is carpal tunnel, pinches off the nerve in here.
Yeah.
So I did that and babied it, and I healed. I've since never had any other underlying issues. But it's kind of weird if you don't sleep enough and you don't drink enough water and you get stressed out, you end up getting injuries. You get, I mean, some of the no-brainers are like Fred was talking about. For me, I would recommend to anybody who's new to drumming to make sure that first off that you warm up, but very lightly. More warm up and just play a little bit with your fingers real light to get the juices flowing. Once you're warmed up, then it's time to do the stretching, And I've been taught a couple really good stretches from my chiropractor. He taught me about a really good. Can I show you? Just
sure.
So you take your arm and you flex so your bicep is engaged, and you take your other hand and you pull your wrist down, very careful because it's a tendon we're stretching, and then you slowly push forward until you really start to feel that tendon in your arm. And likewise with this hand, same idea, real slow, easy stretches, especially when you haven't been stretching before. But for me, it's all about the stretching. And then I'm ready to really warm up. Like if I have a show like Fred, I agree. There's a certain level of me being warmed up and swollen, have the juices flowing that I get. I'm not invincible, but I can get into it. I can not have to worry about holding back. I can just let myself be a freak on the leash, you know what I mean, and go for it. So, And then the other thing I wanted to add before I forget, guys, I got to say water and bananas.
Yeah.
That's worked wonders for me.
Yeah. I take electrolyte tablets and I eat bananas. If I don't have potassium, my calf muscles will cramp up. So I do the same thing. And I drink a lot of water. I really hydrate. This one stretch, I'm going to show you guys a stretch that maybe you guys have seen it, but maybe some of our viewers haven't. And I'm not a doctor. But the one,
You're not doctors.
I'm not a doctor, but the one thing that has helped me has been this stretch, and it's a real simple one. So what I do, pair of drumsticks, bring them up to my chest, drop them through, and stretch, right? And it stretches out my wrists and my shoulders and everything like that. And it also elongates my, the tendons going this way, and I stretch my fingers backwards, and then for at least an hour backstage, I'm on a pad, just doubles to me. I just, you're sitting there doing doubles, maybe throwing in some accents, And just getting your hands warmed up is so vital and important to what it is that we do. So I do a lot of doubles. I do a lot of stretches. I do a lot of drink a lot of water, electrolytes and potassium and bananas. I want to jump onto this. Fred, you said something a minute ago that is near and dear to my heart. You said, staying, physical, mental, and spiritual. Talk to me a little bit about the other aspects, the mental and the spiritual aspects of what you do and how that carries into your drumming.
Well, first of all, physical health. If you don't have that, you really don't have much of anything, right?
Yeah.
As you guys are well aware, I broke my leg 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that'll set you back. I didn't walk for 4 months. And then I spent like a year relearning how to walk. And that is also not only a physical strain, but a mental strain. So we all have a choice every day about what our attitude's going to be.
Yeah.
Even when things are going wrong, knowing that there's a solution in there somewhere, you just have to find it. And one thing that Chip and I have shared a lot together on the phone is finding our pony, right?
That's real. That's true right there.
So you're looking through, a pile of manure, and I got this kind of got planted in my head from watching Chip one time talk about that. It's like perspective, right? Well, with all this crap around, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's that's kind of like a mantra for me anymore. And once in a while, Chip and I will just randomly text each other like, "I'm finding my pony today."
I found it, Fred. I found it in the fire.
And it's just kind of it's just like this random thing that happens every once in a while where it's just like, I could be paying bills or doing something. I'll get this text like, "I found my pony." And it's like that little spark of energy that helps you kind of keep through the day. But yeah, so mentally we have a decision to make, right? And then like spiritually, like I'm a person who believes in God. And I think that's a really important thing that helps drive my moral compass, and without being judgmental to anybody else and what their beliefs are. But for me personally, having that as my center is just good for life in general, not just drumming.
Right.
So having all of those things, physical, mental, and spiritual health are important to me. And I feel like I play better when those things are in alignment. I play better. I'm a better teacher. I'm a better husband. I'm a better dad. All of those things.
Dude, I love hearing that so much, because I think those sometimes are things that really get lost. We try so hard to control everything. I mean, here we are on a podcast talking about physical health and stretching and doing the gig and being the guy in the band and everything like that. But it's so easy to lose sight of the fact that no matter what you believe in, and I'm with you, I'm a firm believer in Jesus and in God. But I don't want to get off on a tangent with that, but I do think that without having a due north with that kind of thought process, you're kind of relying a little bit too much on your own, on yourself for a success. You're not relying on something that's bigger than you. And I'm with you in that aspect. One of the things that we do every night before we go on, and it doesn't matter where we're playing, it can be the smallest venue or the biggest. It can be a club somewhere. Sam calls a huddle. We all get in a huddle. He says a prayer, and it just makes me feel good, and I know it does for the rest of the guys in the band. It lets you know that there's a different calling out there, or that you're hoping that you're making a difference out there. And so I love hearing that. I love hearing that. And mental health too. One of the things that I've been doing this for a while. I'm a big proponent, as you know, of I'm up early and I'm in the gym, who I always have been. But I've always had a book or two going all the time. I'm reading different books. And I really think that feeding your mind with healthy stuff is so incredibly important, no matter what it is. I love history. So I'll read history books and stuff like that, but stuff that's in more of hopefully a positive spin and a positive mindset. What are your thoughts on that, Chip?
Well, I think it like Fred says, it's a three-legged stool. If you're short on one of them, you're going to be off balance.
Yeah.
You've got to pay attention to it. And something popped into my brain of rituals, not rituals. That's a bad word for me to say. What routine? I have a routine where I say, I now command my subconscious to bring me everything I need to have to make my goals and my dreams come true right now. When I get into a state like a Tony Robbins thing, and I get myself out of any doldrums by going through that physical, dun, 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 here we go. do my drum room, hypnotizing myself, doing the whole get into my safe spot. And then also one thing I do before gigs that might be a benefit for other drummers that are going out there and they get the jitters or they get the butterflies. When I get the butterflies, I get a blank piece of paper on a clipboard and I write down everything I'm worried about. I just brain dump on one page. Get the cat food, pay the so-and-so bill. I get my mind empty, right? So
Right.
I can focus on being present in the present moment. And all of that goes together. The mental for that, and then spiritual, a deep connection with my creator who I choose to call God. You know, I spend time in prayer every morning and meditation, and it sets the day for me, like going to the gym and moving and walking my body and drinking water and taking care of myself as best I can. A lot of people fall short on their ideals, and I am always the first one to beat myself up over something bad. You know, I did a solo on a video, recording my solo and my progress on some stuff I'm working on, the R&D lab in the Chip Ritter Training Academy for 2026, you know, and try this new stuff on the solo, and I failed miserably. You know, I just like a pair of sneakers in the laundry, you know, it was bad. It was bad. And I broke my cardinal rule, which was never watch the video on the same day you made it. You know, just I need space. I need time to get back to where the kind of drummer I am how would I critique a drum student? I'd never say those things to a drum student that I told myself. So
Yeah.
I've still got a long way to go with my process, but I really like what you guys are talking about, and I'm writing notes as we go. I had a question for you guys. I like to toss tennis balls. I have like 5 tennis balls around my living room at any given day, and I'll pick one up, I'll squeeze it, I'll work my arm strength, I'll bounce it off the floor and catch it, I'll throw it up, I'll juggle, I'll kick it and then go run after it and pick it up, making myself move my body. So I play with tennis balls, and it all comes down for me for drumming. Is there an activity that you guys do that you feel really helps your drumming as well, but it's not drumming?
Well, when I sat around not walking, I spent a lot of time eating and getting heavy and getting really heavy and looking at myself in the mirror going, who is that guy?
Yeah.
So for me, if I can get out and walk, which I can walk again, and I really started in about mid-January, like being really consistent on walking, and I've dropped 25 pounds.
Good for you.
And I have a long way to go to meet my goal, but once that weight started coming off, playing just got so much easier. I could move around. And Midline filmed a new music video in January, and that was like the thing that I told Mary. I said, I can't continue to try to perform at this level like this because I can't do it. I'm too fat. So I started going out and walking, and now when I'm doing shows, I could just go at 100% the whole time and feel really good. And when I get done with the show, I could be like, I could go another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I could just keep going. And you feel better. You feel better. You look better. You know, your diet's better. And just like your gut health is so much better, just like you just feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just feeling good in general. But like Chip, like talking about kicking a tennis ball around and chasing after it, you know, that's movement. So if we remain sedentary, then you're just going to have a sedentary way of thinking. You're going to have a sedentary way of playing. Everything's going to be really lethargic and just like pushing mush around, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Bart? Do you have an activity that kind of ends up being a help for your drumming as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. Going to the gym, you know, and I have different routines that I do throughout the week. I'm a morning gym person. Every once in a while, you know, depending on the day and my week and how things shape up, I'll go in the afternoon. But for the most part, I like to start my day with a workout, and that includes when I'm on tour, you know, If we're in a hotel, which usually we're not in a hotel anymore, we're usually in an Airbnb. So I carry around resistance bands with me. They fit really well into my suitcase. If we are in a hotel, I'll use a hotel gym if they have one. But I usually, 3 days a week, I lift weights, and I don't lift weights to be, big muscle guy. I lift weights to keep my body in shape. And then 2 days a week, depending on if I'm home, depending on if there's anybody in the gym, I do yoga in the one side. I've been a practitioner of yoga for many years. And so I'll do yoga. And then a couple of days a week, I might do the machines, right? And so it's kind of a 7-day-a-week thing. Rather than free weights. And I think the resistance machines are really good. Resistance bands and stuff like that, like I said, when I'm on the road, going out for a walk. And then I don't for the cardio in there, drumming provides me with quite a bit of cardio. And then also when I'm home and I go to the gym, I ride my bike to the gym, right? It's not a real far ride, but a couple hills going up, and then I ride my bicycle home. So there's plenty of cardio in there. Huh?
Yeah.
It gets your legs going for sure.
Oh yeah, totally keeps your legs going, 100%. Okay, now I got a question for you guys.
Yes.
You're on the road, you're on tour, or you're out and about, and all of a sudden you get hit with something and you're sick. Fred, how do you deal with it?
Well, I, for one, remember we talked a little bit before the show about this. I was playing with Long John Hunter in Mexico City, and I got Montezuma's Revenge the day before.
Ooh.
And it was just bad all around. And I was playing the show. I played the show, but we had a bucket next to the hi-hat that I was puking in during the show.
Lovely.
And back then it was just like the show must go on, but I later they took me to the hospital, and it was bad. I should not have played, but I dealt with it by playing the show with a bucket, getting off, and then going to the hospital. There's no other thing that I could have done. But in other days that I've been sick, if I've had the flu, I usually take daytime Theraflu, and it works really good for me to work on the symptoms, to at least give me 4 hours to get through a show or a gig.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I haven't myself experienced any upset stomach illness where I'm throwing up and throwing down and trying to play the drums at the same time. I have not experienced that. I have had strep throat, or I've had major double ear infection where I felt like if I could just stab the side of my head with an ice pick, I would feel better. All this relief would happen as a result, that's how desperate I was. And when you walk around and you plug your ears like that, and just this intense pressure.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't want to claim it's easier to be a drummer and be sick and do the show, but it's got to be easier than being the singer.
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah.
That's if your instrument is right here and that's having trouble, man, that's just.
Man, poor Sam. I've seen 27 years with that dude, and there's only been 2 times, and he's got a man's voice, he's got some gravel in there, and that's the best way I can say it, man. And he has got a powerful voice. I've seen him lose his voice 2 times, and the band had to okay, Carl's singing a song, Walt's singing a song, Dave's singing a song. And I felt so bad for him. I felt so bad for him. But yeah, that wouldn't be being a singer and being ill like that would not be a good thing.
I think maybe just thinking about preventative maintenance, right? Before you get sick, is for those people who go out and if you just remove the local gigs off the table, if you just occasionally go out of town for a weekend to play a show or two, you kind of, it's easy to kind of lean into party mode, like you're
Oh
sort
yeah.
of vacationing and playing music at the same time.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it's really easy to let your diet just go completely to the wayside, right?
Yeah.
So you're not eating good stuff. You're eating greasy food probably, and that starts messing with your stomach, and you feel bloated and you feel gross, and then you're trying to play and you feel that way. Just kind of like this, like you're poisoning your body with that kind of junk, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what you do after the show, and so you don't have any regular sleep, you're not having a good diet, and then when you get home you get sick because you just kind of trashed yourself for 2 days or whatever. So
Yeah.
just making a decision beforehand to have the water, have the bananas on hand, have a smart snack.
Bring your food with you in your suitcase. Bananas, tuna, water. I did that before when I'd be on tour. The guys were doing McDonald's. I'd be like, dude, I can't live like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the one thing we do. Like from the end of January to the end of February, the band was out for a month. And we came home for like a 3 days, 4 days. And then we went back out, and then we went to Florida. Fly dates are a little bit harder. Usually I'll go to a restaurant one time when we're on tour. And whenever I go to a restaurant, it's one of two things. Either I have a good salad if I trust the restaurant and it's not like some horrible salad bar. Or it's steak, just pure protein, right? Just give me the steak, a la carte, nothing else, just pure protein. And then when we're in the Airbnb, which is 9 times out of 10 where we stay, same thing. We get into town. We always get into town the night before the first show. That's our rule of thumb. And go to the grocery store, whatever, Walmart, whatever. We go to the grocery store, buy your groceries, and definitely healthy foods, right? Definitely trying to stay healthy, stay hydrated, lots of proteins, low fats, fruits, vegetables. I think the worst thing that I eat on tour is cheese, but that'll be like the worst thing. I stay away from the pizzas. I stay away from all that sort of stuff. Again, got the resistance bands in the suitcase, do the workout in the room. I travel with a practice pad, drum set. I set that up in the room. I practice all the time, teach on dark nights, keeping your hands and your feet in shape, just, working on grooves in the room on a practice pad kit. Good for the body, good for the mind. And again, I'm a big believer, and a lot of this, I've got to give credit where credit's due. It's my wife. She was the one that years ago, she was always talking about diet, trying to eat right. My idea of eating right was, I'm going to get a Big Mac, because I have enough money to buy a meal, when I was like starving and broke. But no, eating right and is a big thing. So like you said, I like the way you put it, Fred, preventative maintenance before you get sick. And I travel with a lot of vitamins, magnesium, potassium, electrolytes, a multivitamin, all that stuff. It does, it helps. It really does.
Well, one of my goals when I go on the road is to come back with more money in my pocket than I left.
Yep.
So if I'm whatever the situation is, if I decide to bring food or if I buy food on the road,
unless you're playing Laughlin.
Unless you're playing Laughlin.
Well, if you're playing Laughlin, you usually get food tickets, so I don't pay for food there.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm just thinking about the Wheel of Fortune machine, bro.
Okay, you know what? We play casinos all the time. If I'm on vacation, I'll go gamble. If I'm on vacation, you might find, and I'm in a casino, you might find me at the roulette table or the craps table. If I'm playing, no bueno. If I'm working, I do not give the casino my money back. No way, no how. Ain't happening.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears a little bit real quick, guys, because I'm curious. I want to know your take on this. Can we, if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to talk about a couple things that I do to strengthen my fingers, to improve the muscles themselves. Number one is to stretch the hands. I do what they call thumb circles like this, all the way around with the thumbs. Then I try to make sure that I start flexing isometrics with my hands. And at first I make a claw, and I'm tensing every single muscle as much as I can, and then releasing and tensing and then releasing and tensing and then releasing. And then I also do the fist, just hold them really tight, really tight, really tight, and then let them go. Repeat that a while. Keep doing this spin thing, the fist. So fist, thumb circles, and tiger claw. That's my without a tennis ball stuff. Of course, it helps me with the tennis ball, but that's what I do. What do you guys do to improve finger strength? If you say I need more strength in my pinky, what's the tactic?
I'm going to try to show you this. Okay, I'm going to try to show you. I have to move my camera a little bit.
What's that round thing?
It's a practice pad.
What's that?
So you hold the drumstick and you tap with this finger. Okay. Then you move to the next one.
Nice.
Then you move to the next one.
Nice.
Then you move to the pinky.
Nice.
So I'm tapping the stick down with just my pinky, then my ring finger. If I flip this over, it might sound better.
So let me ask you a question, Fred. Do you if you feel like your pinky's the weaker one, do you just stay on your pinky longer?
You can, yeah. But you got to give it some attention. Like, people forget about the pinky and how important it is to your drumming, right? So can you see how I'm pushing that down?
Yeah, I see that. That's a good exercise.
And then you do it with the other hand. This is my left hand now.
You mean your best hand?
Yeah, what did I say? My left hand.
Best hand.
My best hand.
No,
Now
I said that.
Now when I get to see, my middle finger is way stronger.
Oh yeah, of course.
And but just keep moving through that. So sometimes I'll do this before I play. I'll just be sitting there and have the pad and almost mindlessly go through, and you can do it both at the same time. Doing that.
Nice.
So that's a really good finger strengthening exercise.
Nice.
Nice. How about you, Bart?
I have, I'll show you, I'm going to show you the exercise and I'll give you a demonstration on why the pinkies are important. So mine is really simple. Hold the stick in your hand like you're going to play. Go all the way down to the tip. And just pull a stick into your hand.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. And I do that all the time. I got a pair of sticks out in the I got sticks all over the house and they have rubber tips on them. And I'll sit, like, you know, if I'm on the right side of the couch and watching TV, my hand's on over here doing this. Doesn't bother my wife. If I'm on the left-hand side of the couch, my left hand's over here doing this. Doesn't bother my wife. So that's kind of like my go-to. And then, like Fred said, I spend a lot of time on this guy. I spend a lot of time on a practice pad, and again, doubles, right? So, and simple go-to double exercise is, you know, 1E into 2E into 3E into paradiddle. Now I'm in left-hand lead, 1E into 2E into 3E into paradiddle. Now I'm in right-hand lead. I'll sit there for, you know, having a conversation with somebody, whatever, just and just turn it around. I do that a lot. Spend a lot of time on the pad. Keeps your hands in shape. I'm going to give you a real quick demonstration with a little bit of a story, so bear with me. A number of years ago, a dear friend of mine, in between our old house and this house, he gifted me a Roland V drum kit. He just gave it to me. Rubber cymbals, the whole nine. I was like, wow, this is awesome. In between the time that we moved out of the old house and this house was built, for a few months, we were living in a rental house Leah's aunts, and I couldn't make a lot of noise in there, so I gave lessons on this V drum kit. It worked out fantastic. Well, as people do when you get a drum set or you buy a used drum set, it comes along with some books and drumsticks and whatnot. And there was this pair of Dave Weckl sticks in there, right? Now, here's the important part. This Dave Weckl stick, there's chewed up just a little bit, but that's only about an hour's worth of play on a set of cymbals. And I specifically quit playing these sticks on the kit because I actually used these on the V drum kit for about 8 months. They had no marks on them. And when I got the studio put together here, I set up the drum set. I just grabbed a pair of sticks and sat down and played, and it was these. And then all of a sudden I realized something that, oh, I want to use these for a demonstration. I'm not going to play these sticks anymore except for on a pad, which I do. Now, here's the thing. It's about, a few minutes worth of play on some cymbals, and they get chewed up pretty good. Okay. But this isn't the important part that I want you to see. I want you to see this part. Here's the butt end of the sticks. That's for my pinkies.
Wow.
Right. And I have these sitting over here, and I use that as a demonstration all the time with my students, just from pulling the sticks into my hand. Now, my grip, my fulcrum point is here. As you said, Fred, your middle finger is your strongest digit, right? And I try to play with my hand open like that, very relaxed, and then, pinching the stick into my hand. So that exercise, Chip, and I know it's a bit of a long story there, but that's kind of my go-to. And really the main finger that's pulling that in right there really is my pinky, and I think I accredit that with that other stretch and stuff that I showed you, to not having a lot of injuries, doing a lot of that stuff, and
Yep.
yeah, I really do. What about you? You have what's your go-to?
I've got a go-to pinky exercise that has really helped me a lot. Much like Fred and you were talking about, I kind of hold them up and I just do this while I'm watching TV late at night until they get tired.
Yeah.
And then I leave them alone. And then I also have the finger flip that I did on Drumeo, where you go like this, and this with no pinky and flip it into your grip. That's what I perform with. But when I'm not performing, I use my pinky to go all the way around. And that
nice.
Forces my pinky to be responsible at this position. So this is the one all the time. When I've done this before live, I've dropped it with my pinky a lot. And so I think, that isolating the pinky and the finger right next to your ring finger and just going back and forth and trying to wobble the stick without moving my hand puts a lot of strain on the pinky. Is really hard to do for a long time. And so if you can get good at it and do a spin with just your pinky fingers, it strengthens the pinky and isolates that. So that's what I do to help my pinky. But I love what you guys are talking about. I'm writing down what you guys are saying. This is cool stuff.
I'll show you one more thing I do before I play shows, if you humor me for a second here. So not just warming up, playing, but like as a mental exercise. I'm going to do 4 on each hand 4 times. So then 3, then 2, then 1. So then backwards. And I'll just go back and forth like that to be mentally engaged with what I'm playing.
That's cool.
Or play something in 15/16. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you just short that measure 1/16 note, which pushes the downbeat to your left hand and then pushes it back to your right.
Nice.
So I'll just
like
do this
that.
back and forth, and I try to get away from people so I don't have to talk,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's distracting a little bit before.
Yeah, I like
You
to
know what?
I like to spend a little time getting into the zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the other thing is pretty good for my fingers is to do that Buddy Rich.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you play a lot of traditional grip, Chip? You don't, do you?
None. No.
Fred?
No, I had Scott Johnson do my DVD lesson on traditional grip. It's a great lesson on Snare Force One, the book and DVD or the video. And I thought to myself, who would be really qualified to teach these kids? Because I
You'd be the
haven't
one.
used it since my drum corps days.
Yeah.
You know? But
You'd be the
Scott
one.
Johnson, he's got the whole, the fulcrum, the resting position, the story about playing the drum on the battlefield, and it's a great lesson.
So you
Cool.
can get that started by just doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the
Get
wrist.
that going, and then before you engage that.
Do you use a lot of traditional grip in your playing, Fred?
No, only out of boredom. Only out of boredom. Unless I got somebody that's playing in drumline, they're playing snare and drumline, then we might focus on that.
Yeah. I was just curious.
The Libra in me always got bugged about drumline because once you got the carriers, once we had the carriers, why are you doing traditional? And it's the look. It's just for the visual,
It is.
Like,
it is.
It looks like the old school pipe and drum gig. But
And
ever since we had a snare stand the snare stand was invented, traditional is a polarizing topic in some drum forms.
Yeah.
I mean? So I'm not going to go. I don't want to go there, but I like the fact that when you do this exercise, these fingers are working and these fingers are working. And if you reverse it, the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have a practice pad and you don't feel like using your sneaker.
Yeah.
Right. I just do this.
I just do this with my feet.
Fred, you said something that is really important to me, and that is before the show, before, like, I've got to find my own space, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way it usually goes down is like before the gig, I'll be in my own space with my practice pad, warming up, doing my thing. Somewhere backstage, I hear the guys going through harmonies. They're back there warming up. They're going through their harmonies, right? This is our normal MO. And then Sam will call us all together that we do the huddle, like I said. My saxophone player and I have a little routine that we go through. And then we usually have 5 or 10 minutes. And there's a couple of guys, well, one of the guys in the band, he just wants to talk, right? And it'll, hey, did you ever see that movie about that? And I'm like, dude, there's 5,000 people out there. I don't want to talk about Young Frankenstein. Okay.
Can you see I'm doing something here, bro?
Yeah. And so I have to really, I have to find my own space. And this comes back to what I think what you were saying, Fred, to your point, that mental aspect of it, right? I mean, there's that, okay, I got to get my head in the correct head space, what I mean, to play.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, listen, we're cutting it kind of tight here. Fred's got a lesson that he's got to get to. Chip's got stuff going on. I've got some lessons coming by today, so we're gonna knock it out of here. I don't mean it that abruptly. Hopefully, this show is helpful to you guys. I think
it was helpful to me, you guys.
Yeah, it was to me too,
and has really helped me already. So thank you both.
You bet. And I think our health is something, until if once you have a health problem, all your other problems go away, right? Health is something that we really overlook. And then all of a sudden you have a health problem and all the other stuff that you were worried about in your life is non-existent, right? So, so take care of yourselves, take care of your hands, take care of your feet, take care of your legs, get exercise, eat right, and put positive stuff into your brain. Don't sit there and dwell on the negative, right?
I'll say one last thing. If you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness.
Oh yeah, totally. And dude, you're 100% correct, Fred. You really are. And yeah. So excellent, guys. We're going to get out of here. Chip, play us out, buddy. We'll see you next week.